On this podcast, the MOVEZ podcast, we discuss not who the greatest player is, but who has the greatest moves.
In the social media era, food and travel have become full-fledged hobbies. In fact, dining is now the #1 reason to travel for over 77% of people. Join me, Rich, with chefs Mike and Flo on Two Traveling Chefs and a Fat Guy. This podcast will provide expert insights from traveling chefs and prodigious eaters about the best eats, sweets, and streets from around the world. You can find Two Traveling Chefs and a Fat Guy wherever you listen to podcasts.
You know, everybody knows who the great NBA ball handlers are, such as, AI, Jason Williams, Kyrie Irving. But in NBA, who would you say has the most underrated ball handling skills?
Ironically, I think the most underrated ball handler is Steph. I think Steph, because Steph does turn the ball over. Steph Curry turns the ball over at a alarming rate at times, but a lot of it is just part of his creativity. I mean, Magic was a perennial league leader in turnovers, but he was threading needles. He was passing people open, so sometimes people weren't weren't ready. But Steph is an underrated ball handler. He's got a wicked handle. He's got that thing, in my opinion, on a string, and on a string with a purpose. So he can use those handles. Handles, in my opinion, are simply a segue. They're a transitional skill. They have value in and of itself, meaning to protect the ball, to get to spots, but none of that scores points by itself. It transitions into something, either into a shot, into a pass, into a finish at the rim, into a mid-range, whatever it is, but it's more of a transitional skill. So it can have a lot of value, like Moochie Norris, one of the most phenomenal ball handlers ever to grace the league. But it didn't translate into a storied NBA career. He had a good career, but it didn't translate into a storied NBA career, right? Jason Williams, White Chocolate was dumb handles, but he had a okay career.
That's a good point.
Right. So when I look at those things, I look at that. But honestly, I think Steph is a insanely underrated ball handler. And then I also think a lot of people don't get the credit. So I'll say historically, one of the most underrated ball handlers, historically, not currently, but historically, is John Stockton. Right?
Yeah.
And so why? See, it's two levels, and I've talked about this on multiple podcasts. This is the funny thing about it, that you can have something that is functionally, astute or keen, and you can have something that's aesthetically, pleasing or beautiful or whatever. And we get so caught up into what looks the best, like Kyrie is so nasty with it, but Kyrie might take 13 dribbles to get a bucket. And, MJ took 2.
Exactly, or as little as possible, yeah.
Yeah, so who has, if you think about it, who has the best handle? Well, I would say the person who can get the most with less. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's the way we look at things. So I could be wrong about my, estimation, but the one thing about John Stockton, let me ask you this. Could he get to any spot on the floor that he wanted to at any time?
I would have to say so.
Absolutely. Could he get it and make plays for other people at any time that he wanted to do it?
Yeah,
right?
he had complete control.
Complete control. Was it as aesthetically pleasing, right, as a Kyrie? Is it as entertaining? Well, depending on what you look for. If you look for something that has that is functional, right? You're looking for a car that serves your purpose to get you from A to B. You're not as interested in the amenities, right? I don't care if it has a sunroof. I don't care if it has, heated seats. I don't care about that. I mean, the seats get heated when I turn the heater on in the winter anyway. So my point is, what are we looking for? And then when we start assessing what we are really looking for, we can start to look at beauty in different ways, and you'll start to see, like, damn, John Stockton had a beautiful handle. A beautiful game because it was efficient.
Wow, that's a extremely unexpected answer because we all know Steph is great, but that's very astute because even in creating the concept for this podcast, he never really came up because you don't think of him as a great ball handler, so that really is an excellent answer.
Yeah, and I think you just said it obviously because he's so attached and will always be attached to shooting and revolutionizing shooting. You don't really take into consideration, boy got some beats. I mean, and then he's still kind of. We have to look, man. When God created aesthetically beautiful athletes, like really beautiful, he probably stopped at Jordan, Vince, Kyrie, and
D-Wade.
Hell, maybe D-Wade. D-Wade shot what I'm talking about. When I say beautiful, everything. When they chewed gum on the bench, when they walked to the, Kobe kind of is in there, but Kobe was a not as beautiful version of Jordan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even though he was beautiful, he just was not like literally. When they walked, it was smooth. I had a good friend of mine in college one time because this was the era like we loved MJ then. I was the biggest fan. I don't have any kind of shame, but my boy told me we were out at the University of South Alabama. He played for South Alabama, and he was like, "Man, I saw Jordan eating chicken one time, man, and it was so smooth." He was eating chicken, dog, and it was just, I ain't never seen nobody eat chicken like that.
That's hilarious. But yeah, some people just got it like that.
Just smooth, man. Just got style, dog. And it's everything. I think that has a lot to do with it. And historically, since we're talking about him, Jordan has an underrated handle. Jordan couldn't dribble with this, that. Man, Jordan had an underrated handle.
Yeah, I mean, he was great at everything. Great passing, too. That's why you couldn't really trap him, double him, because he was just, boop,
Yep. Really good, man. So yeah, that would, for me, man, that would be it, man. I would say currently Steph, historically John Stockton, 1, and Jordan 2.
Interesting answer. This was supposed to be a lot shorter, but I'm actually enjoying the conversation, so I'm just going to chop up what I need for my thing. But I'm just going to have to say, for me, even though I guess he's really good, I would have to go with Jalen Brunson today. His handle is very nice.
Yeah, Jalen got some stuff, man. Jalen's got some stuff. I think he's still lefty dominant, left dominant, but he does have some really shifty, off rhythm type of stuff. You know what I mean? He's like, it's hard. He's one of those guards when I look at him, it's like, yeah, I'll struggle to stay in front of him, not just off of speed and quickness. It's just deception and pace. And, he's wicked with it.
He understands, exactly what he's doing out there, even though it looks like, you wouldn't think of him that way, but he's nice.
Okay. Let's talk about, let me ask you, I'm going to flip it on you. So who's the most overrated ball handler of all time?
That is an interesting question. Overrated? I mean, probably LeBron.
Yeah, that's true.
He doesn't really have a bag, but I guess you don't need one when you're that big and you can pass like that. You just do whatever you want, really. I mean, he does, he can dribble, but compared to every other all-time great player, he's got to be at the bottom of the list for me.
Yeah, from one that handled the ball.
Yeah.
One that was, asked to handle. Yeah, he does have his handle is a little shaky to me. Always has been.
But he's so great, it doesn't even matter, which is crazy. His shot's kind of shaky too, in my opinion, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's great at being, but one thing that I've always said about he's the greatest player ever at being good. He's not great at any one thing, not one thing. And people even say passing, overrated, just not great. He's not a Magic level, Bird level, Jason Kidd level. When I think passing, that's what I think of.
Right, he's elite, but he's not the best.
Yeah. So he's good he's the best player I've ever seen being good at things, right?
Definitely.
You know, and that's another whole story. That's another whole conversation, man. But my thing, and I'll let you go, is AI. I think AI has the most overrated handle. And the AI had a move. AI had blazing quickness, and so it made it look as if the handle, but AI was his athleticism that made his handle what it was.
Yeah.
But he had a move. He didn't have Kyrie level, Steph level handles, and I mean he's even acknowledged that. But he's so man. He had the length so he could get the ball outside of his frame.
Super strong for his size, like
super strong,
super Hulk. Yeah, he was a freak athlete like Zion, who just plays basketball.
Yep, I agree with you, man. It's so yeah. That would be my vote. I think his is a little overrated, and you know I'm gonna get blasted when people hear this, but that was no knock at. I love AI, no knock at his greatness, but I just think from a handle perspective, I think people saw him dropping people and the moves, and you know.
I don't know. I mean, if he's crossing the greatest of all time, that might be a little controversial. He's tough.
Yeah, he hit him, but you know, even he said it. You know, Jordan still almost blocked it.
That's true. Yeah, well, Jordan is special. He's just
one of one, man.
Yes, he is. But I just want to thank you for taking the time out to do this for me. It's a great conversation. Obviously, you know all your stuff, man. I hope I can have you back on one day if I continue this, and I think I plan to. You know, I enjoy this. These discussions with people who know what they're talking about, as opposed to it seems like everybody else on the internet are just ridiculous. So thank you.
Yeah, that's the nature of what we're in right now. But man, I appreciate you, man, and keep doing what you're doing, brother.
Thank you, sir.
If you need anything, let me know.
For sure, appreciate it.
No, thank you. All right, bye-bye.
All right, have a good one.
Everyone knows who the GOAT is, Ben Simmons. In all seriousness, the MOVEZ podcast, hosted by Rich Walton, breaks down not the best players in NBA history, but the best moves. Often great players get dismissed because they didn't win a ring. Here we're going to do something a little different. This podcast discusses the best moves in basketball history. Tune in weekly to the MOVEZ podcast and let's get the discussion started.